Good morning, everybody. It's really a privilege to be here today, and I must say I'm particularly humbled by the expertise of my fellow panel members. So it's really nice to be able to join you in the conversations, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot today. In the short time that I have with you, I wanted to really do three things. First of all, what am I doing here, and what is generation investment management, and what is our role as investors in thinking about the bioeconomy? Hopefully that will give you a little bit of optimism, I guess, as opposed to, the lack of investors that are thinking about these issues. Second of all, I want to give you sort of a context for why we think it's really important to invest around topics of bioeconomy, not just from a risk management perspective, but also in terms of the opportunity set that it's offering our clients in delivering great performance outcomes for them. And third of all, I just wanted to share with you how we are seeing the market evolve. Some of the industries and businesses that we see that are harnessing innovation in bioeconomy and some of the benefits that are being derived. So first of all, maybe just a quick minute on generation investment management. Very quickly, we're a fund manager. We've been around for 10 years. We have today about $11 billion of clients' assets under management, including we're very fortunate to have some great Norwegian clients amongst our client community. Our philosophy is really based on a perspective to take a long-term horizon when investing in companies, and in doing so, not just to focus on the financial factors that drive businesses, but also some of the broader economic, social, governance, and long-term economic factors that will drive business. So in a nutshell, we call that sustainability. In practical terms, it means that we think a lot about topics such as biocapacity, resource scarcity, demographics, urbanization, climate change, the transfer to a low-carbon economy, pandemics, water, poverty, real needs at the top and the bottom of the economic pyramid. So rather large secular themes that are driving business and driving society. And we try and invest in companies that we feel are providing a solution to some of the challenges that we see evolving. Some people say, well, does that actually work? Do you actually add value to your clients in doing so? Many people have a negative view, perhaps, of this approach. And I'm very pleased to say that, although I cannot talk specifically about our performance, that we are very much on our way to proving the business case for long-term sustainable investing. Just to move on to, I guess, the context for why we think it's important to invest and think about issues around the bioeconomy. I think there's sort of three secular trends I wanted to touch on very quickly. First of all is the biocapacity of the planet. Second of all is the changing attitudes of consumers, governments and civil societies. And thirdly, the really interesting movement now of corporates who are actually understanding this and figuring out that investing and innovating around topics such as sustainability is a big competitive advantage for them. So the next three slides will just try and illustrate that. I'm sure it's all things that you're familiar with, but just to touch on very quickly. You've probably seen this global footprint, ecological footprint. In a nutshell, what it's telling us is that we have exceeded the world's ability to provide useful biological materials and absorb CO2. In 2012, we were at 156% of biocapacity. That, of course, is a collision course and throws up many challenges in terms of population, in terms of natural growth, and in terms of the biocapacity of the planet, and I would say GDP and economics as well. Unfortunately, that is not going in the direction that we need it to. They predict that that number will be 9 billion by 2042, so not too far away, and that problem really just screams out that we need to learn how to do more with less, and that is what the bioeconomy is essentially going to help us to do. This next slide really talks about what we're seeing as a shift in demographics and thinking around consumers, governments, civil society. They are now demanding that business have a solution and a response to some of the challenges that we're seeing. This just talks specifically about one demographic class called the millennials, who are defined as people born in the early 80s to the early 2000s. Unfortunately, I don't fit in that category. But anyway, this Nielsen survey highlights the different ways in which they value the way in which they purchase and consume goods and services. This is a very positive trend and a big tailwind of consumer sentiment that will support product development in the bioeconomy. So I say to any of the millennials in the room, thank you for your unwillingness to perpetuate the current wasteful practices that we have created. The third point really is just to touch on the corporate movement around this. So investors, we're a bit slow to act. We are still asking the wrong questions. But corporates, big business, understand that investing in innovation, either through their supply chain, through packaging, through mix of inputs, through logistics, is not only enhancing their brand value with their customers, but also saving money. And that is a massive competitive advantage for them. So I think, in summary, these are real forces of motion in play. The resource capacity constraints, the consumer sentiment, and the corporate movement that are catalysing significant opportunities for the bioeconomy. So maybe just to touch on quickly, this is the opportunity set that we see in terms of the bioeconomy being able to disrupt large industries. As an investor, the bioeconomy is not a theme that will limit our opportunity set to add value. It very much enhances. And so really we feel that this transition touches on the core of modern industry and infrastructure, and you can sort of see the value of these incumbent industries that will be impacted by innovation that is coming out of the bioeconomy space. The next slide is just a few examples. I would say, they are related really to things like energy efficiency, renewable energy, displacing energy-intensive retail models, electric vehicles displacing fossil fuel. They may be a step away from your vision of the bioeconomy, but just to say that these businesses are succeeding in understanding the opportunity set around these themes. Now, it's not all a bed of roses for investors, I would say. Unfortunately, I can't leave you with that very positive message that this innovation is all smooth sailing. It is a very volatile path to investing in innovation. So we have to be very realistic about the challenges in doing so. But if you can find the right group of investment people, you have the right process, and you have a long-term investment horizon that is afforded to you by clients who are willing to give you the luxury of time, then I think that you have every chance to be successful in unlocking great opportunities. So I think in closing, I think we feel very strongly as an investor that the bioeconomy and the innovation around that will be a primary driver of economic change over the next 25 years and beyond. There are many successful businesses who are already harnessing the value of the bioeconomy and using it to drive competitive advantage. And finally, as an investor, we just really focus on our process, our culture, and our research process that will help us unlock the value of these companies for our clients. So thank you very much, and I look forward to questions soon.